Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? So, um, yeah, I'm just gonna be taking a stroll through Reddit today. After you know, after we get started, let me know. For some reason, the lighting is perfect. The other one makes it look like I'm super washed out. Let me. Bad. I can adjust it a little bit. So, how are lucid dreams going for everybody? Any amazing, fun things you guys want to share? While you guys are hopefully typing that in, I will go ahead and share something cool that happened yesterday. There's something cool that happened last night, but I'd rather share the one from yesterday. Um, so yesterday I was walking down the street. So I live pretty much like less than a mile away from my childhood home, from like where I lived from like 10 to 20. And I was walking from my house now to there, and somebody was like playing on this like exercise equipment. Like it looked like the ninja gym. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the videos that I have in my house. But there's like I have like a giant orange like monkey bars and stuff like that for the kids to play with and to do. Like my son is obsessed with American Ninja Warrior. So while I was walking down the street, I saw this guy playing on it on one of his that he had out in the yard, but it was also attached to the ceiling. And I realized like after like looking back on the dream that it was like I was inside, but I was also outside at the same time. And there was no weird like stepping inside or stepping outside. There was just like I was pretty much both at the same time. I thought that was pretty cool. Sup, Fieldju? Um, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. So I wasn't sure if I should. Yeah, what's up, Jamal? Glad you can make it. I wasn't sure if I should actually type the answers or if I should just talk about them. So let me know what you guys think. Because I think typing the answers would be interesting. Going through Reddit on here, but yeah, I don't know. It might just take too long. I'm not like the fastest typer. I type at like 60 to 70 words per minute. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts? I don't have like the ability to make like a poll or anything like that. Yeah, so the setup is a little weird today because I have to be on the computer because we're going through Reddit. Would you explain self-awareness for ADA? I don't do all-day awareness. I don't recommend it. It's not my thing. I would recommend looking more at sporadic awareness technique, which is becoming aware throughout the day at different points, becoming like present and in the moment, and often meta aware, which is like becoming aware of the fact that you're aware of what you're doing. So thought that would be cool. Or no, sorry, he said teach, so I get a little distracted. But yeah, so I think that I don't find ADA to be very effective unless it's done like sporadic awareness technique on accident. Or it's similar to like grounding, or it's similar to what the Tibetan yogis do with the karmic stuff, which I'm not really one to teach that because I don't extremely know it well myself. But it all seems to work better as sporadic rather than trying to keep on something all the time. Because like you're really like you're human, like you're self-aware. Like by definition, you're self-aware all the time. Not all the time. Obviously, when you're like unconscious, you lose that self-awareness. I'd say you have too little memory to like become self-aware. So it says, what about for sporadic awareness technique? Let's say I want to be aware for 2 minutes. During the 2 minutes, do I have to be critical? So what I do for my sporadic awareness, or whatever you want to call it, is I like make myself present and in the moment. I do that through grounding, which is I look at my hands, I take a deep breath, like a slow, long, deep breath, and I focus on my hands, and what that does, it brings me into the moment, and it has never failed to make me realize that I'm dreaming. And it also helps, like let's say I'm having like a really really strong emotion in a dream, or even while awake. Doing that, I think that's a little better. Doing that is going to help a lot. it's going to make it to where you're calmer, you're more able to make decisions based on like what you want to do instead of what you feel like doing. And so I would say if you're present, you're going to be critical. All right. So this is going to look weird for like a half a second, so bear with me. And I apologize for like, I'm using a Chromebook, so it's going to look like I'm using a Chromebook. I can't have it not look like that. And I also, because I don't have the paid for version of StreamYard, which if I'm going to keep doing these, I will be paying for StreamYard so I can change the layout a lot better. So this is going to look really weird for like 1 second, and then it's going to look a lot better. Boop. Block notifications. I usually use Reddit on my phone. All right. So here we are. We're looking at Reddit lucid dreaming. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go through some of the stuff that's hot, which I mean, it's our lucid dreaming, so it's not, you know, it's not like there's very many things extremely hot. Just look for questions. Is this weird? I'm not gonna address like all of the normal stuff. Just questions. Questions that a beginner would ask, and that I think would be good to check it out. Can't transform well in dreams. See, I think that, like this one, this sounds good, and there's not any comments on it. Oh, I'm not even like logged in. Frick. Yeah, so I guess I'm not going to be typing in my answers. Yeah, I just don't use Reddit on my computer. I always use it on the phone. So this is dream control question, which is good. I like talking about dream control because I feel like we don't talk about dream control enough. We talk so much about how to get lucid. We don't talk about what we're doing in our lucid dreams enough. So, okay, last night I became mostly lucid. Oh no, what just happened? My computer is not the best. I don't know why that just backed out for no reason. Couldn't decide what to do. I decided to transform into a wolf since apparently it's pretty popular on here. Hey, I have transformed into a wolf multiple times, so it actually is pretty popular on here. Got down on all fours, closed my eyes, and they wound up glued shut. I had to undo anything that had happened to open my eyes back up. I tried again with my eyes open, nothing. I stood in front of the bathroom mirror, tried, and nothing. I grabbed a pencil to use as a magic wand. It sort of worked. I blipped into a half-wolf man for a few seconds, then quickly turned back. I tried again to no avail. I just decided to go out into the snow and watch the fireworks instead, but woke up before I could have much fun. That, I really like that as like a story. Like, I think this is what most people, I mean, what you're going to experience in most dreams. Arrow.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, man. I'll have to talk to you afterwards, okay? I think this is way more common than what like people give it credit for. Most people, like even like a lot of times whenever I grab a dream control I want to do, I mean I have some dream control that pretty much always works. Like I could transform to anything I wanted if I used a specific version of dream control using the I know it's a dream, so therefore I'm going to control my entire reality and change it all. But that's the most boring way to control things. So what I usually do is I would rather use something like a magic wand, and it may not work. It may work, it may half work. And so I'd rather find a more creative way to do things. And luckily, whenever you're starting out, that's generally going to be the easiest way to do things, is the creative way. Because I think a lot of people have a hard time rejecting their reality. I don't want to say like rejecting their reality. It's like right now, if I think about myself, it's like I'm a person, I'm sitting in a room talking to, my phone. So looking at that is hard for me to like disagree with. Like my mind is like, this is what I'm doing. This is what you're doing. And so in order to be like, oh, I'm actually like a wolf, like it's a little bit hard of a reality to accept. Now, when you've been in dreams a bunch and you've messed with them a lot, right? Like after you've transformed once, you're like, oh, this is a dream. So since this is a dream, it makes a lot of sense that I'd be able to transform. And that makes sense for a lot of dream control, right? You're going to be able to transform into whatever you want because you've transformed before. So why else? Like, why wouldn't you be able to? Because it makes sense within the rules of the worlds you're saying you're in. So, like for this, like you just kind of want to like keep trying, you know, like this kind of thing is common. And I like whenever I first started lucid dreaming, I was trying to get to the moon, and it took me 70 lucid dreams to get to the moon. And you might be like, wow, you must have had terrible dream control. And you know, it may have been. There was some stability issues. You know, mainly the fact that I cared a lot about stability, and I thought that I had to rub my hands all the time. It's really hard to fly for me at that time, and then also to rub my hands. And so there was just so many things. Like it was like I was creating rules that I had to follow, right? Oh, in order to fly, I need to follow this red dot. And if I follow the red dot, I can get to where I want. I just have to direct the red dot. In order to stay in the dream, I have to rub my hands. In order to do this. And so I come up with all these rules. And in the end, I'm juggling like 15 things trying to get to the moon. And then, of course, my dream guide came in, and he's just like, hey, why don't you just focus on what you want? And then you'll get what you want just by focusing on it, right? Like, so let's say I wanted to go to the moon. Instead of being like, I need to fly, I need to stabilize the dream, he's just like, hey, look at the moon, it's over there, just head that way. And now it's in the sky, but I didn't think about that. I just thought I'm going to go in that direction. The first time that I turned into a wolf, it was like a half wolf transformation. I was running, and as I was running, I was chasing something. I want to say it was a squirrel or something similar to that. And all of a sudden, it felt more comfortable to be on all fours. And so I jumped down on all fours, and then I looked down and I had paws. And I don't know what like my face and body looked like. I felt kind of like myself still, especially compared to later wolf dreams. So I think that, yeah, I think that's going to be like your main goal is just like, what does you want? Like you want to be a wolf chasing something in the forest. Why not just chase some things in the forest and see if you just transform into a wolf? Now, grabbing a magic wand, like that's a great idea. Like I think that creativity, like 10 out of 10 right there. That's the type of stuff you want to do, and just keep trying it, keep working on it. Darian asks, does daydreaming help? Yes. I'd say daydreaming helps quite a bit. Now, it depends on what kind. Like maladaptive daydreaming, I'd say is almost like counterproductive. You want to be looking at like, actually, like I like reading books, watching movies, TV shows, and stuff like that. These kind of things are similar to daydreaming. And then later on, I'll daydream and I'll think about, you know, like what kind of things I want in my dreams, you know, like what kind of, like right now I've got some goals from my I've got some goals from my what do you call it, books series that I read, Name of the Wind, and I've been going through those. And so I daydream. I think about the characters, I think about all of the things like that, so that whenever I'm in the dream, I'll have like this really solid idea of what's in there. There's a bunch of secrets in the book, and so I'm trying to uncover those secrets in the dream. So I don't want to like imagine opening, like there's the third book is called Doors of Stone. There's a secret behind these things called Doors of Stone. Now I'd love to know what's behind it, and I'd love to see what my dreaming mind comes up with. But the problem is if I visualize and I try to visualize and pretend like I know what's in there, then I'm going to accidentally create that whole scenario, and I think that's a problem. So what I do is I visualize stuff around that, so that whenever I'm in a dream, I can go to the secret and open it up then. Here, this guy says, if someone tells you that you are lucid dreaming, will you be aware? I guess I didn't click that. Will it actually work if someone makes me aware of my dream by telling me? I think this is like just a lot of like there's so many layers to what is being like asked here. Now, I would say the answer for this is like, yes, I've had dream characters come up and tell me that it's a dream. It happens, and I knew it was a dream. It was a full like lucid. Now, he's saying, will I be aware? Aware of what? Aware that it's a dream? You should be, because they just told you that. Now, if you don't have good dream recall, if you're not present in your dreams, then it's going to struggle either way. Now, someone, see, and then of course, right here, the answer is from these people is, it depends on if you believe them, which you probably will, of course, like tossing in belief. And then, of course, somebody actually says here, who's someone from your dream or outside. See, I didn't even think of that. The guy actually saying from the outside. There actually have been a lot of things, people whispering things to people in dreams. That was tested by LaBerge, and it actually works somewhat. Doesn't work as well as the techniques that he put in Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming, but it works. It's something you could try. You could record yourself saying, I'm dreaming, and have it play throughout the night, and you might hear it in your dreams. It's possible. There's a lot of cool techniques like that in Sleeping Mind, Conscious Brain that you can check out. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. I do apologize for my computer being super duper slow at the moment. Or did it just not even? It's just not doing anything, of course. Yeah, I have just, there we go. My internet's not that bad. It's honestly, this is a pretty old Chromebook, and Chromebooks are already terrible. Just hold on. And they've been working on my internet the last couple days, and that has made the internet way worse. All right, I think I have a problem. My gosh, just wait. There we go. This guy has a question about lucid dreaming. I think it's pretty good. Just wait. I might actually have to do this a different way, because this is not working, which is crazy. All right, let's try this again. All right. I actually once put my voice on repeat throughout the night saying you are dreaming, and I saw myself in a dream speaking gibberish to my reflection in a mirror. Right, like there's a chance that you're just going to see random nonsense in a dream that's going to get interpreted weird. But there's also a chance you'll hear it perfectly. Like these are like common things. Like, so again, it just ends up being another technique. And now it's a cool idea, and it's maybe a technique you can try. Especially, oh my gosh, man, I never have this much issue. It must be because of this. Well, that's not good. I'm gonna go ahead and try. See if I can. I'm gonna mess with the screen here for a second. Sorries. Whoa. My entire. All right. There we go. Messed with that. All right. Let me see if I can fix this real fast. I think it might be running StreamYard that's slowing it down like crazy, which is weird because it usually has no issues. Yeah, RAM. I don't. This thing. I mean, it's a Chromebook. I'm sorry. What is considered a strong schema for dream control? Now, I don't. Like, I struggle with the terms like strong and weak, and like, I mean, these are just connections in your brain, you know? Like, I really like using books and TV shows and series and stuff like that. Like, that's a really good, that's a good way to get ideas into your dreams. I recommend trying that as much as you feel. I think that books specifically, though movies, anime, and things like that, people love doing that. We do it all the time. Like, it's one of the main things people use is they love to watch anime and then put that anime stuff in their dreams. That's how I started with dream incubation, was anime. So I think that like that's a great way to connect ideas. Now, what TV shows do I recommend? I mean, a first one, just like to get you started, if you're looking for dream control stuff, is Avatar: The Last Airbender, or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, or Naruto. Like, there's a lot of things. Or if you just want like crazy, insane, over the top magic, and you're like, oh, I want to be able to do like a million crazy things, you can also look at, what's it even called? Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail has a bunch of crazy over the top magic. Now, it's not a magic system that makes perfect sense. It's all like, oh, my power level's higher than yours. And so that, I think, is like, it's cool for dream control, but it doesn't work great as like a system. Now, that being said, I like Fairy Tail quite a bit. I think that crazy power level shows have their place. Does it happen to you to be lucid in a dream knowing that you don't have much time and you rush things? It used to, but I found out that rushing things in a dream makes it to where I'm thinking the whole time, I'm gonna wake up soon. I'm gonna wake up soon. And guess what? I wake up soon. Like that is like dream control 101, is like telling yourself you're going to be able to do something, or you're going to do something soon, and then it happens. So I think that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy whenever you rush things. So I really stopped struggling with stabilization. Like, so I used to use stabilization techniques. I would rub my hands together, take deep breaths. I'd have all these things. Now I still like root myself in the present by looking at my hands, but I don't stabilize. I don't sit around and think, oh my gosh, this dream is unstable, I need to stabilize it. But what happened is I stopped, and I was like, every time I think the dream's going to end, I will calm down and I will prepare to DEILD, to dream, exit, induce, lucid dream. And I would come back to the dream. So every time I started worrying about the dream ending, instead of rushing and being like, oh my gosh, it's going to end, I'd be like, oh, well, it's fine. I'll just come back in a second. And then it became a thing where for a little while, I went through every single thing that people say wakes you up, saying your name, saying your address, saying all of these things. They say it will wake you up in a dream, falling backwards, closing your eyes. I did all of them. And I was like basically trying to convince myself that I know that I'm not going to wake up until the time is right. And so when I got lucid, I would just, oh, I'm dreaming. I would walk over to my fridge. I'd pull a can of something out and I'd drink a little bit. And then I would like lay down and I'd go to sleep and teleport to the dream place I wanted. I did that for like 300 or 400 lucid dreams just to really get the hang of it. And that was not my first 300 or 400 lucid dreams. That was like 600 to 1,000. So like I thought that was a really good way to get used to things. And that's one of the reasons why I say like 1,000. 1,000 is what I think most people like. I wouldn't say it's your first goal. Your first goal should be to get 1 and then 10. But like after 1,000 lucid dreams, anyone that I know that has 1,000 lucid dreams, they're so much different than anyone else that has 1,000 lucid dreams. It's like at that point, you've deviated from like the group so much because of so many lucid dreams that it's hard to compare anybody that has 1,000 lucid dreams. Like you've spent a lot of time in dreams. You've spent a lot of time practicing. You've enjoyed a lot of dreams. It's a good number to like. I like that number as like, this is somebody that's really like gone places with lucid dreaming. And after that, it's yeah, comparison is just super hard. So, yeah, I'm not sure what to do about the Reddit thing. I can try it again. We might end up with the same problem, but we'll see. I've got to share screen. It's so weird how many of those assumptions there are. How would anyone prove it anyways? Why would closing my eyes wake me up? Or this other myth, why would my brain not be able to make up new faces? Yeah, it's that idea that you can't just like make up new things. It's like we literally invent new things in the world all the time. So that's confusing to me. So there's also like I don't know, like if I tell somebody, like what if I oh wow, that's way better. Okay, this will be better. If I tell somebody to like imagine somebody like that they know, but with like a nose that has like, you know, that's made out of a bird, right? Like that's a completely new screen, right? That's a new face. And they're like, well, it's just changing things. I'm like, well, that's like faces. You can say that about any face that you know, is that, oh yeah, you look exactly like another person I know, except for every single part of it's just changed slightly. Because human faces are certain things. At a certain point, if it stops looking like a face, you don't call it a face anymore. All right. See if this works better. Yeah. So a lot of those assumptions just come from like fears. A lot of the assumptions just come from people that think they're in charge. Like not like what's his name? I mean, we talk a lot about Explore Lucid Dreaming. He says a lot of things. And he's like, well, if you do this in a dream, then this thing will happen. And I think that's very difficult for people to like get out of their heads whenever somebody that's in charge of them tells them that. Let's see. Wow. Okay. Actually, I have a lot of questions. Okay. So yeah, and I would also say closing my eyes. For some reason, people connect eyes to falling asleep, even though every part of your body does something whenever you're falling asleep. Like every part of your body relaxes. But for some reason, you connect with eyes because generally the first thing you do when you wake up is open your eyes. So they think your eyes are more connected to waking life. And there's rapid eye movement. But even so, your eyes aren't any more connected. Your eyes in a dream are not your eyes when you're awake, right? I can literally look behind me with my eyes. I can make it try I have 4 eyes. I can do all sorts of things. First lucid dream is different from the last one that you had, like the vividness and things like that. I mean, I don't know. My first lucid dream was really vivid. Most of my lucid dreams are about 11 out of 10 on the vivid, or 11 out of 15 on the vividness. 10 being like how I see in waking life. The only way I would understand that is statements that everything is based on memories and just a mixture, and there's no original thought, like AI. It's training. Sometimes you see the inspiration. Yeah, but then you get into the idea of free will. And I always think that the argument against free will is kind of stupid, because at that point, there's no need to argue it. If you don't believe in free will, then you were destined to not believe in free will, and blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares anymore about anything. So I don't like it. I don't like anything that is a useless thought like that. Like, if in its own philosophy, it's useless to think about that philosophy, then I'm not going to like focus on it. Sometimes when I'm lucid, I try to enjoy myself, but some character from the dream interrupts me. Like, for example, a villain from the dream tries to fight me, and I'm lucid, but I can't get rid of them. Okay, yeah. So that's like, I guess, so to me, like, that's always so funny, because it's like, I want to experience my dreams, but my dreams keep interrupting, right? So like, I guess what I'm always wondering is like, why do you want to lucid dream? Like, a lot of people want to lucid dream to explore dreams. But then they get upset whenever dreams interrupt them. So a lot of people also want to lucid dream in order to just experience fantasy places and fantasy things. And so then whenever the dream part of the lucid dream interrupts them and stops them, or is random or ish, not random, because there's no true random, or like something just happens, they're like, oh, I can't believe this thing is like bothering me. Now, I would say learn how to teleport. That is just probably the best way to get away from things that you're not going to enjoy. Like, I spent hundreds of lucid dreams just teleporting every single time chance I could. And what ended up happening was I got better at teleporting, and the dream around me, I was able to just ignore it, which was so nice. Like, basically the world around me, I was like, well, so what if a dream character is interrupting me and he's like trying to fight me? Like, does it matter? Like, he doesn't exist. You know, like, I guess as soon as you start like fighting him, as soon as you start like engaging him, he becomes more like substantial at that point. So like, you can't control the actions of the entire dream. Like, maybe you can, like, but it's like in waking life, you know, you can't control the actions of others. You can just control yourself. So the same thing goes in dreams. I mean, you can sometimes control more in dreams. It seems like it. But you know, sometimes things are just going to happen, and you're going to have to deal with them. And if you focus on them, and it will like substantialize them, it'll make them to where they're more vivid. It's like whenever someone posts on here, lucid dream, but I couldn't control myself, right? And then that becomes like, that's how they see their dreams as. Or people will say, all of my dreams are like this. So I think that it's good to note that like, these things are getting, man, so many ads. These things are getting in your way because you're focusing on them, and they're there. Now, if they're there, like somebody told me like once, they're like, I can't complete any dream goals because I keep having false awakenings. Every time I leave my room, I can't, like, I'll get teleported back. And I was like, well, why don't you just lucid dream? Like, why don't you have dream goals that involve your room, right? Why don't you learn how to teleport? Or why don't you have a dream goal to set your entire room on fire, stuff like that. So every time I try to use superpowers, it doesn't work, but I'll start trying to use gadgets like using a portal gun to teleport or a jetpack to fly. So that's basically, you're struggling to have like a good reason, right? Like, I'd say a lot of dream goals happen with like, there's a reasoning involved. Usually the reason is, I'm dreaming, therefore I can do, therefore I can fly, therefore I have super strength. What's important? All right, let's look at this one right here, actually. I can read the whole thing there without clicking. Now, so since you don't have a reason for it, like, you're like, oh, I'm going to try to fly. Okay, I'll go talk with him in a second. I'm going to have to leave here in a second. I'll be back. So whenever you have a portal gun, your mind says, because this is a portal gun, it creates portals. You shoot a portal one way, you shoot a portal in other ways. And then, like, I'm talking about like portal, like actual, where there's the two entrances. And then it works, right? That makes sense. Now, for some reason, it doesn't make sense to you to just be able to be like, point and there's a portal, and point and there's a portal. Now, as you get more and more into dream control, you'll realize, oh, that portal gun is just like a figment of my imagination. There's no difference between me pointing a portal gun and not using a portal gun. Yeah. What I don't understand is like, how can you imagine things while you're in a dream? Like, how did that works? Whenever you're in a dream, it feels like this. So if it feels like this, then imagining things is going to feel like it imagines whenever you're in a dream. And even right now, I can imagine, like in my mind, I can imagine, like, if you ever read a book and a character's like thinking of something, right? Like, let's say you're reading a book and the character is talking to a friend. And while he's talking to a friend, he's imagining flying to space. So you're imagining 3 screens there, right? Or at least seeing 3 screens. Like you have your screen, you have the screen of him talking to his friend, and you have the screen of him imagining. It's not like whenever you think of something like an imagination or anything like that, it's like, well, this is your one visual audio, like tactile screen. It's like, no, it can just keep branching off forever. Yeah, the Reddit page doesn't look great. I agree. I will be back in probably 1 minute.
Dad, now can I show you Dad? Now can I show you the thing?
Whew. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah. It's the first time that kid hasn't slept through this. Well, I guess the first time I did it, but that time wasn't even at a nap time. So, this guy right here, let's answer this question. What's more important, journaling or DEILD? As Sal says, I'm curious what people think when you wake up. What's more important, dream journaling, attempting to dream exit, induce lucid dream? Soon after attempting DEILD, I forget about the dream and lose the opportunity to journal about it. Thanks. I always have this problem. So unless I am in a lucid dream, I don't try to dream exit and induce lucid dream because I think that it is basically you're taking away some chance or some like ability to like you can spend time right here and get better dream recall, or you have a chance of lucid dreaming. So in the long run, basically, instead of getting your dream or getting like building your recall foundation of recall, you're having a chance to do something. And I think it's much less important to do DILD. Now, I also think most people, unless they're awoken at specific times, they're not going to be able to DILD back. Generally, when you wake up, you're not able to DILD back. If you woke yourself up from your dream or your dream ended prematurely, something like that, then I'd say you probably can DILD. That's generally not going to happen unless somebody's like woke you up or something like that, or if you're in a lucid dream and accidentally woke yourself up. So the old Reddit was better. I don't know what the old Reddit looks like. I just don't spend that much time on the internet. I mean, I guess I spend quite a bit of time on Discord. This is cool. I like this question actually. It says, hello, I have zero lucid dream experience, but watched a few videos and learned that the characters all have their own. Now it's gonna load. Started reading it before it got there, and I was hoping. There we go. All have their own personality and stuff. So can someone technically like make teams with random dream characters and play sports like basketball or games like Counter-Strike against each other? Did anyone try this before? Thanks. Now, actually, I started doing that when I was a kid, just with basketball, like imagining in my head. And I also spent a lot of time playing chess in my head and things like that. Oh, really? That's interesting. Let me try that. I don't know if that works for sure. Can somebody, I don't know who Nathan Hale is, so I'm wary to test his advice. What's up, Lusitania? Glad you could make it. So yeah, you can basically. They have personalities. They have like their own like ways of doing things. You can make it to where the dream character is more and more substantial, and it may seem like crazy to even think that someone could do that, but like again, like we read books and watch movies and stuff like that, and there's characters on the screen and these ideas that don't exist. Somebody created it. They created, and you have this idea. Like you can take a dream character, or not just a dream character. You can take like a book character. Like people dream about book characters, but characters from books. Something that they've never seen, they've only heard of. You dream about characters from movies and TV shows, and you have this idea of what they would do if put in a certain situation. So a dream character, a persistent dream character, in my mind, is just a dream about that persistent dream character, if that makes sense. That's great. I'm glad that you have taken your eyes out for that. Now you don't need glasses anymore too, so it's super helpful. So I don't have much time to answer questions from naturals trying to stop lucid dreaming. That's not my forte. Okay. The almost wild. This is, yeah. So why does the buzzing sensation die out for me whenever I'm performing wild? In short, how does one intensify the buzzing feeling during wild transition into lucid dream? The buzzing has died out for me 3 times this morning, and I felt really close to becoming lucid. I really appreciate the answers to this question, as I feel like I'm this close to finding my specialized way of lucid dreaming. This is what I call the almost wild. What's up, DJ? Glad you can make it. Oh, Darian asked a question. That's easy to answer. Yes, I lucid dream when I have fevers. I don't see why I wouldn't. Maybe there's something in the fever, but I've heard people a million times say they have fever dreams and stuff like that. Seems like most people have more vivid dreams with fever and fever medication. So this comes from the idea a lot of times is people, like I've told you before, that I think wild, there's different phases that you're going to go through. And at the end of those phases, you're going to end up with, let's talk to you later, Zedby. You're going to end up with a lucid dream if you can stay conscious during them. But the problem is that the phases don't always happen in the same order. They don't always happen at the same time. They're not always the same length. And you can't really guess which ones are going to be. So you kind of just have to trial and error. And as you're going through it, you might feel a buzzing sensation. You might hear noises. And if you feel a buzzing sensation and you deal with, what do you call it? You deal with that buzzing sensation in a certain way and it makes you wake up. That means you did it wrong. So you need to change how you're holding your anchor. You need to change what you're thinking about. You need to change how you're thinking about the buzzing sensation. I would recommend not even concentrating on this buzzing sensation at all. Think about something else. Think about your anchor. So yeah, that's my thought process is whenever they say they had an almost wild and they've never had a wild before, there's a chance they were 20 minutes away from a wild. Just because you feel what it feels like to fall asleep, you could be in phase 1 out of 20. You could be in phase 1 out of 2. You could be in something that's not even a phase to fall asleep just because you're laying down and staying aware. Do you think being mindful is a direct factor in wild? Mindful, that is hard to say. I guess it depends. Like mindful generally needs generally when I think of mindful or aware, I kind of need like a certain thing. I would say what you need to be is a certain amount of present. Hey, Arrow. Can you turn the volume down a little bit? And your volume down a little bit? Thanks, man. So I think, I mean, you need to be present. You need to be like sort of like not like intensely present, but you need to be conscious. You need to be able to think whenever something happens a little bit. You need to be able to notice when something changes. Yeah, the person there says maybe you're trying to force it too much. It could be. Most people though, they're just sitting there laying in bed feeling sensations over and over that they've never felt before because they are either trying to get one specific sensation, right? He said he's trying to intensify the buzzing feeling. Now, I think that's a specific technique I've heard before, so maybe he's got a specific one. But I like to passively notice what's happening instead of trying to direct what's happening whenever I'm doing that kind of wild. It makes more sense to me. Man, apparently it's not going back. Oh no. Uh-oh. Happened again. So I think that focusing on something or expecting a certain thing, like you're not trying to go into wild and say this is going to happen and I will, and like you want to be like, you don't want to be reactive with wild. You want to be active. You don't want it to be like, this is what's going to happen. Now this happens. Okay, this is what I wanted. All right, let's look at, should I go new or top of all time? What are you guys thinking? I'm guessing you guys have probably looked through the top of all time, so I'm thinking new. Can you guys hear Phineas and Ferb in the background? That's my question. Whoa, I did not know that. So our lucid dreaming was created June 16th, 2009. That's crazy. Like that's before I joined Dreamviews. Like that's absolutely nuts, actually. Alrighty. Okay, this question's hilarious. How should one treat dream characters in order to get them to do what I want? That's actually pretty funny. I don't think I'm going to answer that. I think that goes along the idea of like you may need to do one specific thing in order for your dream to act a specific way. But I like the idea. No, links to resources, articles are welcome, but no books, please. I love it whenever people are anti-book. It's like if I could just like get like a TikTok on how to do this, then that would be great. All right. Let's see. This guy just wants. Man, I just skipped forward a bunch. I was reading something. All right. I'm in new advice. Actually, I like. Let's read this one. This one sounds good. I'm very early on in trying to, and I know it takes a lot of practice, but I've hit a weird snag. The first 3 nights of trying to lucid dream, I became aware that I was in a dream, and 2 of them. And one of them I was almost able to control, but got too excited. I've been keeping a dream journal, doing reality checks, not as faithfully as I should. My problem is that after I worked 2 very tough shifts, I haven't been able to get close to where I was. Like I'm watching my dreams as a spectator now. I've lost all my progress. Even my memory of my dreams isn't as vivid as it was. My friend said perhaps I'm trying too hard, but I thought the more you thought about it, and the harder you try, the more likely it is. And it is struggling to load, so I'm not going to click that. I imagine that's just close to the end of it. So I've found that a lot of times there's a like bit of beginner's luck for a lot of people, and I wouldn't say it's beginner's luck, but I think that a lot of times people try really hard and they try in like all the wrong ways, because what they'll do is whenever they first hear about lucid dreaming, they'll think about their dreams and they say, oh, in my dreams I could realize that I'm dreaming. So they connect this idea of their dreams and realizing they're dreaming, and then that night they have a lucid dream because they connected those 2 ideas. Hey, that's mild. Like that's mnemonics. Maybe not exactly LaBerge's mild, but that's the idea. And then the next day they're like, that was amazing, I'm going to do it again. And they look up techniques, they look up all these things about dreams, and instead of connecting the idea of I'm dreaming to dreams, they're connecting their idea of I'm dreaming to other people's dreams or what they want their dreams to be like. And so instead of like the schema for dream being like their own dreams, right? Their idea of dreams is some far off idea or a visualization. Like they're not actually thinking about their dreams. Like, and he seemed to not quite know. I mean, he says almost did. I became aware that I was in a dream. Like that's, so he became lucid twice. And, you know, in two of them. That's, he doesn't even know the basics of it. But I imagine he's watching YouTube videos, getting random ideas of what could happen, and instead of looking at his own experience and judging based on that. All right, let's go down more. Lucid dream, but I couldn't control myself. A while ago, I had a lucid dream, but it was more like a dream where I knew I was dreaming, but couldn't really control myself. Felt like I was watching myself through a camera, and I felt really dumb. When I woke up, I knew that it felt less like a lucid dream and more like a fuzzy dream where I was watching myself being lucid. All right, I gotta have to deal with this kid again. I'm suppressed. I've not had this problem before.
What are you doing?
Come here, woman.
What?
Come here. I'm back. Why do I feel like the same questions get posted every day on the sub? That is definitely true. Like beginners, instead of wanting to read through things, they like to just ask questions. There's an FAQ on there. They could easily read through that. There's a there's a million resources that they could just click and find. Lusitania, come on. Don't remove LaBerge or LaBerge, whatever that is. Sorry, I was like running because I also wanted to get a drink while I was gone. Okay. Oh yeah. Let's see. What did I say? We had. Oh yeah. If someone tells you no, let's see. Let's look for another good question. Had an incredibly vivid dream today morning. Is it because of the banana? That's great. How to stop doing lucid dreams unless I wake up with dream ends without going fully lucid. This is that crazy idea that there's like a fully lucid, like even while awake, like your presence or your awareness, your like mind changes. You know, it changes from thing to thing. If I'm playing sport or if I'm reading, it's going to change. And so I think people have a very specific idea of what they want for their dreams, and whenever it's not that, they think it definitely wasn't what they wanted. And Jay said in his stream, I thought it was really interesting. He said that he was like trying to go to a library, right? And he said he kept thinking about the library all the time. And he kept going and going and going. And then his dream started having stacks of books in them. And he's like, oh, thank goodness. Like it's working. And I think that shows a lot of mindset. Like that's an important way to look at things. Is these people, they're like, oh, I tried to lucid dream, and then I just had a dream that I kind of knew I was dreaming. And it's like, no. Like obviously that's the right direction, right? If something similar to what you're wanting is happening, then that's the right direction. And you're building those, bridges to your subconscious mind. You're building bridges from your waking mind to your dreaming mind and controlling it. And yes, the banana-induced lucid dreaming. That's what build is. It's not barrier-induced lucid dreaming. So I think what people don't realize is, for me especially, how it's always been, is getting lucid in my dreams. It's just like my normal dreams, except I realize I'm dreaming. Now, early in the night, a lot of times my dreams are really, really railed, and it's really hard to make decisions outside of the dream, like outside of the dream plot. Like it's hard to pull up goals. It's hard to do things like that. After 3 or 4 hours of sleep, I'm more myself, which I think is what most people want when they're dreaming. But that's how my dreams have always been. Like my dreams, whenever I was a kid, I would have like these kind of fragments of dreams and stuff like that early in the night. And then later in the night, it was like I was living a different life with different memories, and everything I did was logical. It was just that I didn't know it was a dream. Uninduced lucid dreams by gaming. Gaming induced lucid dreams. You should check out Ian Wilson. He actually has a lucid dreaming for gamers YouTube channel. It's pretty good. He also has a book on how to lucid dream. It's got hundreds of pages. It's got more on incubation than I've ever written. He talks about Deja Reve, like a lot of things like that. Really cool dude. I want to get him involved on OmniLucid, but I keep forgetting to message him. He also deleted a bunch of the stuff because I don't think he was getting the response he wanted. It's still out there though. False awakening is terrifying, and I hate it. I think it's funny that people are so afraid of being in their room in a dream. I don't know. I've had some nightmares in my room, but I've had more false awakenings than I can count, and most of them are just normal. Like there isn't anything inherently scary about a false awakening. It's just going to depend on you, what you associate with your room or false awakenings. I felt like I was lucid and I made choices, but I felt different. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think a lot of people, they come with all these preconceived notions of what it's going to be like. Just imagine your dreams right now, except you know you're dreaming. No, not deja vu. Deja reve, which is precognitive dreams. I don't know what that means, Crimson. You nearly had a false awakening, but I accidentally walked into a pillar in my room and I became lucid. I am confused by that. There we go. So for several months, I've been trying to lucid dream. I'm at the point where I can pretty much remember at least one dream each night. I do reality checks every day without prompting. I say at the end of each reality check to myself that the next time I dream, I'll remember to recognize that I'm dreaming. I do go back to bed with an auto alarm, and yet I have not been able to lucid dream yet. What do I do? 3 things right here. 1, dream at night is really bad recall. 2, reality checks is not a great technique. And 3, I do wake back to bed with an auto alarm. Wake back to bed with an alarm is less effective. So he's doing things that help lucid dreaming, right? Reality checks sort of help. The next time that I dream, I'll remember to recognize that I'm dreaming. Like that's not a bad thing to say. That's kind of pretty similar to what LaBerge says to say. Wake back to bed with an auto alarm. He doesn't say anything about doing techniques during the wake back to bed. So that means he just wakes up during the night. So he's doing these things. Reality checks are a technique. Yeah. I don't like them. They're not very effective. Every study I've seen has said that they're not very effective by themselves specifically. But I think that beginners should do reality checks so that whenever they get into a dream and they're like, no, this can't be a dream, they actually have something to pull on, and they can be like, well, can I actually check and make sure? When I was a kid, I had a dream where I was just standing at the top of these stairs, and I had been flying around that whole dream. And I don't know if I came from my room. I don't know if it was a false awakening. And I was like, is this a dream? I had no idea, right? And this would have been, an actual lucid dream had I realized it. But I didn't know how to figure it out. I was like, I don't know. And I'm like standing at the top of the stairs, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's a dream. And then I woke up like a couple minutes later after just sitting there trying to really decide. I had another dream where I was talking to a dream character, and I saw a girl I liked. I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to go talk to her and, see how things go because this is a dream. And I don't know where that thought come from. I hadn't thought it before at that point. And he laughed at me. He's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, this isn't a dream. And I'm like, is it? And I was trying to think, is this a dream or not? And I couldn't think of a way to figure out if it was a dream or not. I feel like my dreams start to be only in my room, and I think it makes it difficult for me to know that I'm in a dream. Always reality check every time you wake up ever. Sometimes I'm trying to increase my recall of dream journaling, but every time I wake up, I'm super disoriented and groggy, so I literally don't feel like doing dream journal at all. Any advice? I guess I was talking about this before with like how you feel. Somebody was saying basically that in the dream, a dream character comes up to them and starts like, you know, antagonizing them. And he's like, and I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, you don't have to deal with them. You can just ignore them, right? So you wake up and you feel disoriented and groggy and you don't feel like dream journaling. I guess to me, like I'm not sure, like there's nothing stopping you from dream journaling, right? You're still in control of your actions. So, you know, maybe you're waking at a bad time that you're very, very groggy and disoriented. Everybody wakes up sometimes where they're really, really tired. And it's like almost impossible to make the decision to get up, right? Um, but I mean, most people, you know, you'll sleep like 2 hours a night and you'll wake up to your alarm to go to work in the morning because you know that if you don't go to work, you're going to get fired. So, um, yeah, the one reason, you know, it just might not be that you feel dream journaling is not important, or you might just think you need to do what you feel like doing. You don't. You don't need to. Now, ignoring feelings 24/7 all the time isn't going to be like healthy as a human. But ignoring a prompt from your body to do something like go back to sleep, and then you're going to go back to sleep like in a minute or two after dream journaling, like I don't see why. And you can also just dream journal later. Like, um, you can write down a few things and then dream journal the whole thing later. Or if you can remember the dream later on. I mean, like, who gives dream journals at night before he goes to bed? Like, you don't need a dream journal the second you wake up. But it is a great time. It's probably going to be the most effective time. I think there is something to say about dream journaling the night before you go to bed. You know, being able to think about your dreams, being able to connect with your dreams right before you go back to them so that you know what your dreams look like, that kind of thing. Um, Isn't ADA just the ultimate form of a reality check? Yeah, sure. They're both not very effective techniques. It's the ultimate form of a not very effective technique. Does visualizing, exploring places in your imagination increase lucid dream chances? This is kind of actually debated a little bit. I would say depends on how you do it, right? Because, like, I mean, humans imagine things all the time. If you think about going to work, your mind imagines going to work. Now, it might not be the super visual thing. Um, but I mean, like, mild is, you know, imagining yourself becoming lucid. So there's got to be a step between thinking about going to work and your mind being like, oh, yeah, yeah, this is how you drive to work. Um, and like waking up from a dream, imagining becoming lucid in that dream and going back to sleep. So there's like, you know, there's a spectrum of how much it's going to help. And so it's going to depend on what you're doing. Yeah. See, mild with ADHD. That's, you know, pretty. Scroll down and see that you can't see it. Seems like an easy issue, but someone with ADHD, my mind wanders a lot. Mild is very difficult because I could go from repeating a mantra to thinking about something completely unrelated in less than a minute. Are there any strategies to overcome this, or are there any alternate methods that are more ADHD friendly, so to speak? This is something I've actually experienced because I have ADHD. Um, I would say that I think that the way that ADHD seems to work for me is actually pretty similar to how most people describe their dreams, where their mind wanders a lot, where their attention is focused on not really, like, they could choose to focus on something, but then after a few minutes, it's not like I can choose to focus on something and stay on it for. I couldn't when I was a kid. I practiced it a lot. Meditation and things like that helped a lot. In fact, almost everything that helps with lucid dreaming seems to help with ADHD. Sleeping well, eating well, um, like these kind of things, like just being like a healthy person overall can help with ADHD. It can help with lucid dreaming. And I would say that if you can't sit down for 1 minute and think about something that you choose to think about, then sit down for 10 seconds and choose something. And the next time, 15 seconds, the next time, 20 seconds. Now, you may struggle because you're like, well, I have ADHD. It's hard to pay attention to things that I'm not interested in. That's, for me, that's where ADHD seems to be. It's like, if I'm not interested All right, is the audio back? Can y'all hear me? Hello, hello, hello. I'm just gonna assume you guys can hear me now. That was crazy. I had an alarm going off to remind me to pick up my daughter from school in an hour or so. Apparently that alarm leads us off to move the audio. Yes, you can hear me, or you're the only, or you're just finding someone else. Audio's back. Perfect. So yeah, basically, I feel like all of the things, all the problems that someone's going to have with ADHD, you're also going to have problems with that in dreams. You're going to have problems with that in dream control. So I think that if somebody is a well-adjusted person that has actually managed to get a handle on their ADHD, not with medication, or maybe with medication, I don't know, I don't have medication, then I think that the tools that you use to help ADHD can be used to help dreams. But I actually think that's how it is for almost everything. Like basically, you know, you're leveling your ability to control your mind up. That's how dreaming works. That's how life works. You know, you want to be able to control your mind in certain ways. And I think that that's going to be what it is. You want to level your mind up. And so if your ADHD is bad enough that something like mild is difficult, you can either try to level up your ADHD, like your mind, your ability to focus on things with something else, but slowly build it up, you know, every day add 10 seconds, every day add 5 seconds, every day add 1 second, you know, in a month, that's 30 seconds. And, you know, in a year, that's 6 minutes, you know, that's not nothing if you can't focus on something. So, you know, incremental, slow, moving forward. And, you know, maybe it seems really easy and you add more time faster. But anyways, that's my advice on that. Brain always hurts while lucid. That's not good. Not a good sign. I would go to a doctor. Yeah, brain hurts the moment I realize I'm in a dream. It's been this way since a few years ago. The pain usually lingers for a couple minutes after waking up, depending on how long I was lucid. Yeah, definitely go see a doctor. If you have if you have pain when you're doing things that are normal, you should go to a doctor. All day awareness techniques, of course. Know any useful, reliable sources to learn about lucid dreaming and how to do it? Heck, yeah. 3 places. Books, YouTube videos and channels that I recommend, not other people. OmniLucid Discord. All sorts of great stuff there. Yeah. How do I get past the vibrational stage? Right? We just talked about this. There's this idea that people seem to have that in order to get a lucid dream, you need to go through the vibrational stage. You need to intensify the vibrational stage. I haven't felt vibrations in years and years. And I have wilds most nights. Any night that I try to, I'll have a wild. So yeah, the technique that's helped me to do ADA. Man, there's just so much stuff for ADA, so much stuff for vibration. So this is my problem, I think. With a lot of like our lucid dreaming. This is why I don't go on here very often. I just think that a lot of the people on here aren't really looking for like how to lucid dream. They're looking for a quick and easy fix to get a lucid dream. And if that's what you're looking for, I recommend doing something like Rossis or DEILD. You don't really need many, you don't need much to help you. You don't need a dream journal. You don't need stuff like that. And there's a chance you'll get a lucid dream. Try it once a week or something like that. And you might get a lucid dream every once in a while. It's not going to build any of your fundamentals, but, you know, it can help. So if that's what you're looking for, I wouldn't recommend Wild. Now, people really, really try to think, like since they understand Wild a little bit easier, they think that it makes it easier. And I've always said this before, is that I think of Wild like dunking, because a lot of people, like Wild is like bringing the ball to the rim, putting it in, you know, like you're not tossing it. And everyone's like, oh, dialed seems random. Now, dunks, yeah, while they're more, you know, direct, that doesn't mean they're easier, because believe it or not, I wouldn't say that there's defenders whenever you're lucid dreaming. The only thing on the court is really yourself. But a lot of times you act like there's defenders, you know, I can't lucid dream tonight because of this. I can't do this. I've said before, only focus on the positive things. Don't think about things that might negatively affect you, right? Don't think of it like a bad sleep schedule hurts lucid dreaming. Think of it like a good sleep schedule helps lucid dreaming. But anyways, That being said, if I'm tired, I can't dunk. Like if I'm like worn out or if I jumped too many times yesterday, I struggle to dunk, right? So does that mean that dunks are random or that lucid dreams are random? No. Or wilds are random? No. It just means that you have to play the odds, right? The odds are how it works. Anytime you do anything, there's a chance that it'll work and a chance that it won't work. That's how life works, right? Even with turning on a light switch, it seems perfect, but one day you're going to turn that light switch on and it's not going to work. The odds are just really, really high that it will, right? Speaking of odds, what are the odds that like my clock dies, right? It seems like really low odds. Your clock will die, whenever a battery runs out. I've got 3 clocks in my house. 2 of them died this morning at the same time. The clock showed 4:55 on 2 different clocks. Now, I don't know what the odds of that are, but it's not something I would say was even possible, right? So the odds of your clocks, 2 of them dying at the same time, is really low. So I guess for me, what I'm saying is that there are odds for everything that's happening. Everything that can happen, there are odds for it happening. Even something like turning on a light or your clock continuing. It's just really good odds for most of the things that you think are automatic. There's nothing at like 100%. Wild is not 100%. Dialed cannot be 100%. It's not how life works. So whenever people hear percentage and they think that means it's random, it's not. That's just how it works. And, the whole goal is to just increase the chances. And that's why I generally recommend things that work long term, increase chances long term. Did you try to astral project? Yes and no. I don't believe in astral projection. I've tried techniques that are technically astral projection techniques, and I've had things that are similar to astral projection, but they were always dreams. I was always still in my dream world. There was always the same rules that apply to dreams. Now, they might be very vivid dreams, or they might be dreams with very specific rules, but they seem like dreams to me. This always comes up for some reason. I think I'm going to be closing it down soon. Is that lucid dream? What the heck? I knew that was going to happen. That was ridiculous. Can't believe that happened again. All right, I'm back. Sorry. I will change that alarm off. So that means I got like 5 minutes before that alarm goes off again. So yeah, I think I'm just going to answer this one last question right here. Can you switch genders in a lucid dream? If so, how much experience do I need for that? The answer is yes. And the answer is also 7. You need 7 experience. Okay. Not 7 lucid dreams, just 7 on the experience scale. Obviously, that's not how lucid dreams work. You don't have a certain amount of experience and then something gets unlocked, right? Most people fly in their first lucid dreams. It took me 70 lucid dreams to fly. Yet I could use telekinesis and fire before ever lucid dreaming. And I could use them in all dreams. You don't just get things unlocked as time goes by. You have to kind of like manually unlock them. It's almost like if someone said, hey, can I juggle? And you're like, yeah. And then you're like, okay, how much experience in life in using my hands do I need before I can juggle? It's like, well, just like practice juggling, right? Like practice catching balls and then practice tossing a ball up and catching, you know what I mean? Then practice 2 balls. And so that's one of the things that I think it's just important for people to understand is that that's not like dream control is not linear like that. Random question: how did I meet my dream guide for my first time? I was not lucid dreaming. I realized that I was in a dream, and I took the road away from where the dream wanted me to go, and turned a corner. And I already told this dream on a previous stream, but basically, I saw a flower, black stem, red rose, and then my dream guide just walked around the corner and told me that if I wanted to be in the dream, I had to be like that flower. And the next time I saw him was actually when he taught me how to fly, because I was struggling to fly for 70 lucid dreams. And he showed me how. He also showed me how to fly faster later. He showed me a few things like that. And he also kicked me out of my dream world once. So, Froggo, I'm just closing the stream down. Sorry. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed all the questions from Reddit. I think next time it should be a little bit more simple. We're going to go through dream views and looking at old dream guides. I'll have lucid dream guides. I'll have a bunch of them pulled up already so that it's not whatchamacallit. It's not loading up things. And I don't have to like search for them. I'll just go through the ones that I like and the ones that I recommend and some of the ones that are insane and fun to look at. Sorry you're late, Froggo. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for joining the stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something.